Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is a brand spanking new season here in MRC. We're into our 16th season in this league's history, and we're kicking things off on a Friday with MRC-X. We are running realistic cars for MRC-X this season. But before I go into any more details, joining me for a brief period until my official co-commentator joins me from the V-Car garage, it's the Rum Meister, the captain of the comms team, Mark Hodgson.
Good evening, my friend. Welcome, season 16. Here we go.
It's come relatively quickly, despite the 2-week break we had in between.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? I mean, I know a couple of the other guys didn't get a chance to have that breather, but no, it kind of has, hasn't it? It's good to get racing again, and this is it's a difficult track, to say the least, isn't it? It's around the Portuguese circuit. But yeah, it's going to be good fun. Like you say, realistic performance for the first time in MRC-X, a whole new point system as well. If anybody didn't see the announcements, it is on. It's in our Discord, and also we talked about it a little bit in the team draw that we had the other day.
Yeah, we'll run through the changes after this sprint qualifying, because it's a sprint format for the first race of the season. A 12-minute qualifying sprint format with a 11-lap race, and then it'll be to our usual 18 minutes for the standard qualifying, and then a 33-lap race of 50% around the Portimao circuit. And just gonna get things sorted on my screen, and we'll go with Gav, who's going to be the first one to go over the start finish line. So we're heading down towards turn 1 here at Portimao. Flat out, you're going to be going downhill, and then you've got to be very careful of the inside curve, because that will spit you out. And then we sweep through turns 2, and then the tight turn 3, and then it's the off-camber uphill of turn 4. Easy to lose the rear through here. DRS open now as we head down towards the hairpin of turn 5. Nice and tight. Nicely on the exit. And then as soon as you're at turn 6, you're straight through it again. And then we've got turn 7 and it was quite perilous on the game last year, turn 8, but from what I've heard from people, it's not so bad on this game. Over the hill and then into turn 9, and then up the hill into 10, and then as soon as you're there, it's 11 as well. And then it's back down the hill again through turn 12, and then you're going back uphill again into turn 13. Another tight one. And then we're going back downhill through turn 14. Taking a tight line, then taking it out to the left hand side, then the sweeping flat out turn 15, and then it's flat out to the line, and Gav sets a banker of a 19.4 in the realistic Red Bull, but Kid in the realistic Haas does an 18, and then Ben in the realistic Sauber smashes it with a 17.1. Time's coming in thick and fast in this qualifying session, because it is a very short one. I think you have about enough time to do 2 runs, as currently we've got running order so far: Ben, Doris, as Calvin's just gone P3, Kid P4, Gav 5, Mark in down to 6th now as Roddy goes 5th. Time's coming in thick and fast, obviously, as they are at the start of a sprint qualifying session. We'll jump to Smet as he's coming through turn 15 to finish his first run. And he puts it P10 in the Red Bull. We find Lorpe as he's heading through turn 11 as he comes downhill to turn 12. few drivers taking the soft tyres, some of them taking the medium tyre.
And that's the thing, exactly that, because it's a sprint format. It's balancing what you need, what you're trying to sacrifice through these sessions, and then what you're going to keep for the race, what you're going to keep, as I said. Then we've got the full qualifying session as well, so it's a bit of a balancing act as well, I think, in this qualifying session and the sprint as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what people use, see how much life people try and take out the tyres as well. So, like I said, shortened as well. You said 2 runs is possible, absolutely, and yeah, it's this realistic performance is really going to shake the grid up massively, and not just in qualifying, which is all gung-ho, as flat out as you possibly can. We are looking at, of course, the race is going to be very difficult as well.
Yeah, and as we know from the equal performance side of things to the realistic performance side of the game, some setups may end up having to be tweaked, because setups may not transfer over from one to the other, so we'll see how people react to that. And also, all the cars are individual now, so they all handle differently, so everyone's going to have to get used to how each car drives from what they're used to as well, so that'll play a factor. It's going to be interesting to see who can pick things up relatively quickly. Has been watching my newly and reunited teammate at Single Track putting his Mercedes into P10. I will say I'm going to look forward to working with him this season for definite. It's been 13 seasons since we last were as a team, and also at the team that we are this season at McLaren, so it's going to be a nice reunion, I would say, and I'm going to enjoy it, that's for sure, when Tier 2 gets underway on Monday.
No, absolutely. I think we've got a lot of good teams, good balances as well this season, so I think it's going to be fun. I've got a little bit of news for you, Mr. Edens.
Okay.
The sprint race is may get a little bit damp towards the end.
Ooh.
But qualifying and main race could get a little bit tasty. It could get a little bit, damp. Or as Mr. Hornet likes to call it, a little bit moist.
So, from what you're saying, anything can happen with possible changeable conditions at certain points.
Absolutely, and this track is very low grip. I know a lot of drivers are struggling. I am certainly for any type of setup, and it's going to be a real throw of the dice for a lot of people. Myself definitely included in that sentence, 110%. But yeah, it's going to be good fun, I think. Well, I say good fun. It depends how you look at it, but it's going to be a tough one. It really is. It's going to be I think a lot of gambles. I think. Through the sessions, I think it's going to be who's compromised potentially for sprint, who's going to set up for the longer race. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hard work, I think, for a lot of people. It's a very bumpy circuit, this one, so the car can kick a little bit even in a straight line. So there's going to be a lot of perils out there. It's low grip, as we say. The rear is going to be sliding. It's getting the front bitten into the tarmac as well. But then, like I said, just to get the car turned, get the traction is going to be hard. And then also, if you're going to throw in a little bit of damp conditions to the mix, it's going to be. I think we're going for excitement, and then as well we've got the added perils of track limits as well, which you've alluded to, and it is very easy to just run that little bit wide if the car's skating around a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one for everybody this evening.
Yeah, just following Ben in the kick Sauber tonight, coming through the final sector on his second run, currently on provisional pole with the 17-1, as the car decided to go on him through turn 14. Back end stepped out halfway through, so will he box? Yes, he does. He bails. Hopefully he'll be quick enough to get out again. And I've just noticed Saviour in the Williams in second place on a 17.3. So usual suspects at the front again, with our recently newest member of MRC, Roddy, who's in the McLaren tonight, currently P3 on a 17.7, so looking very good for his first official league race in MRC. Got Doris P4 in the Aston Martin at the moment, so we'll go down to the tail end. And oh, is that a V-carb just coming through turn 11, Mr. Hodgson?
Yeah, that'll be me.
Let's have a look how you do at the tail end of this lap then, as Roddy's retired in the pits. Or is that on track? I think that's on track actually, because he was the McLaren just behind you. Yeah, the McLaren pulling off to the side of the track. That's a retirement on track, so possible warning for Roddy, I would think, because it is his first race. But that's a decent jump for you, Mark, up to P9 towards the tail end of this session.
I think with this track being so bumpy, and I know my confidence, I'm not going to lie, because of the very lack of practice that I've managed to have, my confidence isn't necessarily there. It's getting tyre temps is difficult as well, so I'm been struggling, so I'm okay with that lap. It's not my finest, but just trying to get round, really, trying not to take too much out of the tyres as well, and just trying to sort of feel my way into the whole session is the key point that I'm sort of been going for here. And to be in up there sort of mid-pack, reasonably happy with that in the overall scheme of things. But yeah, it'll do. We'll see how we go. Obviously in this the car that I'm not sort of used to very much, and yeah, it is what it is, really.
Yeah, checkered flag is out now, so everyone's on their final run. So can anyone topple Doris, who's currently on pole now in the Aston Martin of a 17.1, pipping Ben. Saviour's not took the flag, so he's not. He stays third. Calvin goes up to P4 in the Alpine at his final attempt. So let's see what everyone else can do towards the end of this sprint qualifying session. It's still Doris currently sat in the pits on provisional pole position, as we're watching the newly promoted Flattery from Tier 3 to Tier 2 after he clinched the title last season. Driving the Ferrari tonight, coming through turn 15. And yeah, down on his time but took the line. We'll drop to Kid, who seems to have gone purple in the middle sector, as he comes through turn 15 to finish his final run, and he will be the last person to take the flag as well. So let's see what Kid can do. Last one over the line, and he goes fourth. So Kid in the Haas goes P4. So Doris in the Aston Martin takes the first pole position of season 16 for the sprint race at least, so bragging rights for Doris on that one. And we'll run through the sprint order once those cars that are being pushed into the garage get pushed into the garage. And then we'll run through the 18-man grid for the sprint race here at Portimao.
Yeah, very close at the top there. I've got them up if you want me to quickly run through some.
Yeah, you run through them. I've got a black screen.
So Doris on pole, 200ths ahead of Benny. Xavier in third alongside Kid Dynamite. Calvin in fifth with Roddy on his debut in sixth. Colin in seventh, great lap from him. Flaherty in eighth. G-Star in ninth. Armour in 10th. Then we've got Loppy in 11th. Night Shadow in 12th. Myself in 13th. Smith 14th. Jackster, single track. Rassam and Baby Hornet in 18th position for the sprint.
Cheers for all of those off, Mark.
No problem.
Sorry for people on my side of things with the stream. We just had a completely black screen, and it's bright sunshine for the start of the sprint as we're looking. So we've got a bit of a gap as usual between qualifying and race, so it gives me a chance to run some things about this beautiful track in Portugal. Usual 50% format, will be 33 laps, but for the sprint race we're running 11. 50% race distance, because I haven't done the maths for the sprint.
I think it was 33 it came up, but I'm sure it was 35.
50% is 95.326 miles. That's the 50% race distance. As you heard me on during the qualifying, there's 15 corners. You have 6 to the left and 9 to the right. Most wins at the Portuguese Grand Prix shared by 2 drivers, Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell, with 3. The most successful constructor, though, bit of a nerdy one here. There was a total of 9 seasons that did not count towards the Formula 1 World Championship, which were 1951, 1952, 1953, 1954, 1964, 1965, 1966, 1955 and 1957. I know that order sounds a bit wrong, but that's just how I written down. So I had a little look. The most successful team at the Portuguese Grand Prix in Formula 1 is Williams with 6, because if you look on Wikipedia or whatever, or wherever you find your information, it says Ferrari with 7, but most of their races wasn't official Formula 1 races, so they only have 2 wins to their name, whereas Williams have 6. There's my nerd session of the evening. So if anyone's if anyone's still awake, thank God.
Don't forget, folks, if you are watching, please do hit the like button. Join in the YouTube chat as well if you get this opportunity. It'd be great to have us having some of your comments as well. And obviously, like I say, hit the like button. Always important to help us in it, MRC.
Yeah. A bit of a dotted history for the Portuguese Grand Prix, because it was dotted here and there throughout the F1, throughout the years of F1. They had a stint from 1958 to 1960, and then it went on a hiatus. Then it came back, which was at Estoril this time, from 1984 to 1996. Then it went on hiatus again, and then it got brought back for the infamous pandemic seasons of 2020 and 21 as a backup for the silly calendars that we had for those 2 particular seasons. And that 2020 and 21 was at this particular track in Portimao.
Yeah, we raced, was it the Algarve, one of the other circuits we raced briefly? Was it Mugello, I think? I can't remember the other Portuguese race we did.
I think Mugello was Italian.
Yeah, it was actually, I do apologise.
And I don't think we had those particular particular tracks on Did we have them on? Yeah, we did have them on F1 2020, I think. I can't remember that.
We had it on our 21, we had it on, because we did briefly have it.
Yeah.
And I quite liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was nice to have like tracks that we never really thought would race. I mean, look at Qatar in particular. That was officially built as a bike track, and now it's been tweaked to cater to Formula 1, because now that's got a permanent seat on the calendar. As about to go on formation for the sprint race, so Norris will lead the grid away on formation lap. So it is the front row lockout of the Aston Martin and the Sauber, but Doris, because of the disconnection before the formation went underway, he is having to wait until after the formation lap to retake his car. So hopefully
he'll
he got straight back in as soon as he left. So hopefully as soon as the grid forms up, he can take control of his car. So as Mark ran through the grid earlier, Doris and Ben on the front row, Saviour P3, Kid P4, Calvin in P5, Roddy P6, Colin 7th, Flatty 8th, G-Star 9th, Armar 10th, Lorpy 11th, Night Shadow in 12th, Mark himself in 13th, unlucky for some, so I wonder what kind of race Schmidt in 14th, Jackson 15th, single track in 16th, Rassan 17th, and the 18th and final runner is Baby Hornet himself. So just have a little quick of what people have chose tyre wise for the start. We've got a reasonable split. Doris, Saviour, Roddy, Colin, Armar, Mark and Smith respectively have took the soft tyres, and the rest of the grid have decided to go for the medium tyres. And this is the one thing that is good about the sprint weekend format, is because, like you say, who's going to sacrifice qualifying and the sprint and save particular tyres for the main race later on, as we wait for the rest of the grid to form up. And then we'll have the 5 red lights that will get the sprint race underway, and we'll be going flat out hopefully for 11 laps, as 2 drivers have missed their grid slots, and that is G-Star and Single Track respectively. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and the sprint race for MRC-X is underway. And it looks like a decent start for Doris, who retains the lead off the start, and Ben slots in behind in second, with Saviour slotting in third. As hopefully it's nice and tidy through turn 1. There's loads of position changes in the middle of the pack, as Roddy's made 1 position up past Calvin through turn 3 into 4. Lorpy's made a brilliant start, currently up 3 places from the start, and there's a few jottling through turn 5, as we've got Single Track up 3 places up to 13th on this opening lap. Mark currently up 2 as well, so decent start for you, my friend.
Yeah, got a nice launch side by side there with Armour for quite a lot of that, so that was good. Nice clean as well, and respectful from both of us. I ran off the track a little bit, just trying to give too much room, and then understeer, so I've got a warning already for that, which I felt a little bit unfair, because I did sort of back off it a little bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, so just trying to use some of these soft tyres while I can, really, see what I can do.
As Mr. Soze has joined the lobby, so hopefully he'll be joining the commentary sooner or later, as Doris utilising the soft tyre early in this race. He's opened up a 1.4 second lead after lap 1, as Saviour takes Ben for P2. So it's all tight, as apart from Doris, who's absolutely bolted in that Aston Martin on the soft tyres. And Smith dropping off the back of the pack, because I noticed that he'd had a disconnect. Let's see if Saviour can, on those soft tyres, reel in Doris in any way. As we'll drop back to Calvin and Colin, close together, the Alpine and the V-Carb for 6th and 7th. They're in a little fight amongst themselves, as we have a bit of a move. The V-Carb and Mark Hodgson around the outside of the Ferrari for 10th place. Just caught the tail end of that.
Yeah, it got a little bit screwy, so I managed to go side by side again, a few corners. It's wide enough this track too, we do that, and that was respectful again with Flight. I enjoyed that one, so no, good moves so far, so yeah, it was all good fun, that one.
Yeah, and as I've just seen on the top corner of my screen, good evening Steve, and welcome to the comms box.
Yeah, good evening, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Got there in the end, lap 3 already?
Yeah, you haven't missed much, so yeah, 3 laps in. Saviour, since getting past Ben, on who's on the medium tyres, has slowly clawed that gap to Doris a little bit. It was 1.4 when the overtake was happened, it's now down to 1.1, so Saviour in the Williams slowly reeling in the Aston Martin ahead, but those 3 in a little race of their own. Roddy in the McLaren just in around about the 1 second on those soft tyres as well. Kid holding station in 5th on mediums, and then Colin in 6th on the soft tyres. Calvin dropping back a little bit from Colin on mediums at this point. It's going to be interesting to see how those soft tyres are going to feel towards the end of these 11 laps, as Roddy sets the fastest lap of an 18.7 on lap 4. So Roddy really setting a statement in his first official race here in MRC, promising things looking forward to Tier 2.
That seems like a fast lap. What was the quali? What was the sort of top quali position today?
17.1 from, I think it was Doris who set the quickest time at the end. It was a 17.1. Pipped Ben, who was second, who also did a 17.1. So the top two were in the 17.1s for qualifying. As looks like Mark's having a bit of a difficult time.
Yeah, I made a move and then got tapped a little bit wide, but it is what it is.
Yeah, won't distract you too much. Let you race.
It's all good. It's okay. All good.
As the gap is, yeah, as the gap out front is now below a second, so Saviour is now within DRS of the Aston Martin, and he's dragging Ben along with him, and Roddy's not too far behind either. So it's still relatively close around up and down the pack. Few gaps
so far.
Yeah,
at the moment,
few
really.
trains at the moment. As I've noticed, Hornet and Single Track, I think Single Track's had a bit of a moment because he's currently ghosted. G-Star 3 seconds.
It's quite early on in the even a sprint race to multiple track limits.
Yeah, Mark's making moves again. He's back up to P10. But as it stands respectively, just to Martin's having issues. Everyone ghosting on my screen, so looks like a few people having issues with the crossplay.
I'm looking at the timings. We've got crossplay on, but it doesn't look like we've got anyone other than PlayStation users in this evening.
Yeah, it's all PlayStation, but we're still crossplay for MRC-X. Smith got kicked from the lobby. His car's ghosting around 11 seconds towards the back. I don't think we can.
We got Ben. Ben seems to be catching Saviour quite quickly here as well. To be honest, reading him in real fast.
Yeah, he's on the medium tyres, so probably could be that stage where the medium tyres are now the tyre to be on. As Jaxter's picked up 3 seconds. Well, he's jostling away with Rassam in 14th and 15th, but we'll focus on this battle out front. The front two cars on soft tyres, Ben in third on the mediums, and it looks like it's slowly coming to Ben's side of the coin on those medium tyres.
Have you done any practice on this track yourself yet at all, Carl?
I was in the practice session yesterday, and also I was part of the grid for the draw on Monday, because I believe, because I believe you, and Bergen at one point were tripping over each other. I think roundabout. I think it was turn 10, 11 round there. I think, or probably turn 12 to 13. But no, I was in.
Your pace is concerning me this season already.
Well, from a previous Tier 1 driver, I'll take that. But to quote a certain Mr. Hills, because it was a very interesting question, because I listened to the drawback. Jaxter's retired. He's retired in the pits, and Single Track's managed to rejoin. That's good. He's 9 seconds off Baby Hornet though, but at least he's back in. But we're still currently fixed on this battle for the top 3. But in particular, no, but in particular, the battle for 2nd and 3rd is the battle for 1st and 2nd in Tier 1. Because overall the race is being led by Doris, who's Tier 2. So the top 3 Tier 1 drivers, as it stands at this point in the sprint, is Saviour P1, Ben P2 and Kid P3. And for Tier 2 it's Doris P1, Roddy P2 and Colin in P3. And for Tier 3 it is Night Shadow in P1, Smith down in P2, but I don't think he's managed to rejoin yet. And now Saviour's gone, yeah? Saviour's gone.
No.
Smith is saying in the YouTube chat, can we switch crossplay off? My guess is probably as soon as he's got in, he's left again. If you want to probably discuss that with admins, I think is what Mark would agree with as well. It's probably something to discuss with admins, as Saviour's
busy at the moment.
Yeah, he is. As Saviour's dropping down the order, as he's managed to rejoin again, so hopefully he can get back in his car. So due to that disconnect, he now finds himself 3rd in Tier 1. No, sorry, 4th in Tier 1, because obviously Colin got promoted. I apologise, he's 3rd in Tier 1. Colin now a Tier 1 driver, so he now sits 3rd in Tier 1. As now Calvin's gone past Saviour, who's now back in his car because it's gone solid. So it's now a 2-horse race out front between the Tier 2 driver of Doris and the Tier 1 driver of Ben, as Single Track has left the session. It's also retired his car as well. I've seen that on a few cross-play lobbies in other leagues, where it's after a second disconnect it decides to retire the car altogether. Saviour also is disconnected and it's retired the car, so that's Saviour out as well.
Got a bonus there for Mark actually, because he's just taken a position, and then unfortunately for Saviour he's gone out, so Mark said nicely jumped up there.
Yeah,
this is a big battle now. The cars now, obviously, I'm okay for tyre wear. The tyres don't feel too bad, but obviously being on the softs, everyone else behind me on mediums. But this is now where this realistic performance is kicking in, because I do feel that I've got the pace. I feel like the car's okay underneath me, but yeah, the guys have got a lot of pace behind me, so I expect to get swallowed up down the start-finish straight again.
Yeah, because you got from Lorpy, who's directly behind you, as Saviour's managed to rejoin, but it's retired his car on track. As I say, you got Lorpy hooked up behind your rear diffuser, and that goes all the way down to Armar in P12, so you got quite a train behind you, Mark.
Oh, come on. I mean, I've been battling with Loppy, and we pulled away a little bit from people like Night Shadow and things, but now they've got that realistic performance, they've got the DRS, and I think this is going to be close into turn 1 with Night Shadow. Oh, that's very tight. Oh, let her go wide. Oh, boom.
Yeah, just jumping up to the front, and it's Ben who now leads overall.
Wow.
The Sauber ahead of the Aston Martin. That'll be the medium tyres kicking in. This is the penultimate lap, 10 of 11. They say it's a sprint race, and my God, it's a sprint race. This has gone back by very, very quickly. As,
quick enough. I could have done with ending last lap when I was in I was in 7th. But I think
as Roddy now finds himself.
Mediums. Oh, yeah. Someone's put behind. I think that was G-Star.
Someone's just gone. Yeah, G-Star's out.
Yeah, Collins picked up 3 seconds as well. As it stands, it's Ben P1, Kid P2 and Calvin P3 for Tier 1. Doris has retook the lead now. Even before turn 1, he's already took it through turn 15. He's now got the DRS and gone swooping past the Sauber onto the final lap. So we're going to focus with these two, as they'll scrap on this 11th and final lap.
Did you mention earlier on Smith had disconnected or something? Because I was just
Yeah,
at the
he
back there
did
and
disconnect, and he
still
joined.
ghosted, yeah.
Yeah, he said he joined because he's put in the YouTube chat. He joined, but he had no controllers. Oh, that's a move and a half between Doris and Ben through turn 5.
I thought Ben had it
and
done
it's going to be through, looking like it through 7 and 8 as well. This is going to go right to the line. Oh, Ben had a bit of a moment. Roddy's picked up 3 seconds in his battle with Kid as Ben goes, oh, there's a slight touch, but Ben held it. He went for the tighter line through turn 10 into 11. Caught the rear quarter of Doris's car, but caught it, held his rear. Doris had a bit of a moment, and he'll come round turn 15 to take the sprint race from pole position.
Nicely done.
Titanic scrap on that final lap with Ben. Doris wins, Ben second, Kid will come home third, and it'll be Calvin in fourth, Roddy in fifth, Colin sixth, as we now wait for Lorpy and Co to cross the line, and that is a 3 cars across the line.
Oh my!
A Ferrari sandwich with a V-carb fill-in.
Yeah, I got a poor drive. I had a sloppy middle sector. My overtake was actually on by accident. Lost all drive, and then Flaherty got a great drive off that last corner down the hill. So yeah, that was a bit touch and go there, to be honest.
Right on the line.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll run through the final sprint order before we head towards the 18-minute qualifying session, and I'll also let you know who won what in their respective tiers as I will run through the order. Obviously, no doubt about who won the race overall in tier 2 with, it's giving me a funny screen. It's saying connecting with on. There we go. So Doris won overall and also tier 2. Ben came second with a win in tier 1. Kid comes second in tier 1. Calvin third in tier 1. Roddy comes second in tier 2, with Lorpy third in tier 2. Gav wins tier 3, and Smith, well, his car was still classified running, even though he wasn't in the car, so I'll leave that to the admins whether or not he gets the points for second place. But speaking of that, with the the heavens have opened! It's an absolute downpour. I think our resident baby hornet Simon Pratt has been singing during that sprint race. It is pouring down for the qualifying here.
Didn't you say, Mark, it was going to be possibly
He did mention
Yeah.
something about moist. He did.
I did, but wow, that's
what you want on this track, isn't it?
Oh, goodness me.
I won't express my feelings on the stream because we chatted about this alternatively the other night, but I wouldn't be very happy now.
Wow.
I'm looking at the rain and I'm getting horrible memories to the last time to one of the seasons we raced in Portugal when it was, think it dry to wet and whatever. I made the call I did have a possible win-loss that day due to getting the call all wrong. So not very happy memories with this track in this particular weather. As the first car out in the conditions is G-Star in the Haas. And he's out on full wet tyres, and I think the Red Bull we're seeing heading out was on intermediates, which was Night Shadow.
I shall leave you to it, fellas. Have a good one. I'll try and hang on.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks for that. Good luck.
Good luck.
All the best, Mark. So yeah, Steve, we've got a absolute soaking wet qualifying session.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be. If this carries over into the race, I mean, it's going to be absolutely nuts, isn't it? To be perfectly honest. Let's get on board with somebody.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've got G-Star first car out on track. He's on full wets. We'll put the
Night
tyres
Shadow's
up to
gone out
see.
on-
Yeah, Night Shadow on
Night Shadow's
intermediates,
great.
yeah. Although, I don't think I'll mention it on stream because a friend of mine who I in a party with was in another league race, and yeah, probably the wet tyres are not all what they seem, even when conditions are like this. But we'll see as the qualifying session goes on, as we will watch G-Star, as he'll be the first one to put a time on the board. Don't expect the drivers to be in and out of the garage this session. They'll be putting plenty of fuel in those cars and putting multiple laps in. As G-Star, the back end wanted to go, but he collected it well. And just behind him, I think, is the V-carb of Colin, who's on an out lap. We'll focus.
Sorry to cut across there. So yeah, Night Shadow's just gone straight back into the pits. And
Yeah, probably
he's putting some wets on.
Yeah, he's probably putting the Blue Ward full wet tyres on. As we follow G-Star, who heads through turn 8, down the hill towards turn 9. And I saw earlier that we had about 21 people watching, but now it's dropped down to 14, so we've got 14 people watching.
How many likes? 4.
Come on, guys!
Come
if
on,
you like what you see, please let us know with a thumbs up. As we're now up to 15 people watching. 15 people watching G-Star set a lap in the rain. As thought the back end were going to step out through turn 15. Now heads towards the line and gets the first time on the board of a 33.8.
Right, so what I'm going to do, I think it's just about to finish.
As Doris does a 30.7.
I mean, looking at that, I'm on board with Saviour, who's just about to come around the last turn. Was it turn 15? Oh, a little bit of a moment. Turn 15 onto the straight for his first flying lap, and he's on a set of intermediates himself.
Yeah, baby Hornet with a 32.7, but that first lap time by Doris, 30.7.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
He's nearly 2 seconds quicker than Baby Hornet at this stage. So whatever he's got that car hooked up well in these conditions. As we've got everybody out on track. As I say, they'll be fueled with a decent amount of laps in the car and just going round, because as we know, best way for when it's wet qualifying is to put as many laps of fuel in and just keep going round and round and round, because the track will develop as the session goes on, as the cars clear water. And as we've got 15 of the 18 cars on track, that is lots of water being distributed off the track, and there is a dry line forming
definitely.
as we go through. We'll drop down to find somebody. As you say, Gav did go in and he's on a set of full wets. He's just on his way into turn 5.
Looking at 30. I don't think Saviour's gonna. It's good. It looks like a decent lap for intermediates, but it's not going to be enough. But that's well, obviously Saviour's been particularly quick. Well, quite a long time now. I keep saying it, but he's he's absolutely lightning at the moment. So to get a 1:31.6.
Ben's just starting his first flying lap. He's on intermediates himself in the Sauber. Tail wanted to go through turn 1 and turn 2, but he collected well. Bit of a wiggle through 3. McLaren gets out of the way at turn 4. And it's a wet qualifying. We have no DRS as Armar takes provisional pole at the moment with a 29.7 on full wet tyres.
21 would be a little bit optimistic.
Yeah. Quick correction there. As we watch Ben.
Obviously, this is evolution now, and it's
yeah, it's
we've got 10
as
minutes
the
left.
session progresses, the track will improve as we go along, as the water gets dispersed from the track. Looks like a tidy lap from Ben at this point, as he's heading towards turn 13. Started the sprint in second, finished the sprint in second. Let's see what he can do in the standard qualifying.
Almost
bit of a
driving around
twitch.
turn
Yeah.
14 there.
Yeah, heads through 15. Let's see where he puts his salvo.
It's going to be fairly good.
P5 with a 31.005.
I mean, look at that. I mean, that's the second. What, we've got second and a half on Saviour's time there. Wow.
Yeah, his kids improved to P3. 30.5. Few cars yet to set a lap time, including Mark, who's heading through turn 7 and then turn 8.
So you're going to be signing up for any of these X races then? Now they're on the realistic performance.
If I get chance and I'm not in the comms box. Because at the end of the day, it's track time, and one of the things that helps us develop for our respected tier races on the Monday and Wednesday is track time is the most important thing, because it helps you develop confidence in the car, confidence in the setup, and also improves consistency as well. As Mark puts it, P7.
There we go. Yeah, I was going to say Ben was 5 tenths up on the end of sector 2 there, so he's just pulled out a belter as well on those intermediates.
Yeah, we'll drop down to the Aston Martin of Rassam, who's one of 2 drivers still to set a lap time. The other is Lorpy. They're the only 2 yet to put a benchmark time on, as the Aston Martin comes through turn 11, as Armar improves his pole time to a 29.1. Almost said 21 again. Calm down.
He's on fire at the moment though, isn't he, Armar?
Yeah.
In these conditions.
The front row at the moment is a tier 2 lockout with Armar and Doris. And it's an all tier 1 second row with Colin and Ben, as Lorpy set a 31.8 set a time, and then Rassam puts his Aston Martin into P10 with a 30.6. There's definitely a dry line forming now at this point in the session.
I think Mark, if he's come around those last 2 corners, it's just going to bang it out. Yeah.
8 tenths
Lovely
improvement,
Lovely
up
lap.
to P3.
Oh, I forgot he's not in comms anymore. I was sitting in silence then, because I'm thinking I don't want to talk to him when he's coming around the last few sectors.
He's probably feeling a lot happier now that he's not in here with us, and he can just focus.
Yeah, probably. But no,
that's probably why he's improved so much, is because he ain't got us rambling in his ear.
Yeah. Get his head down. But no, that's a cracking lap, that one.
It'll be interesting to see though who decides to stick qualifying out on the full wets, and who decides to give the inters a gamble at the end of the session when the track conditions will be at their absolute best.
Yeah.
Despite these conditions.
I'm looking at tyres now, and there looks to be a couple more people going to be coming out on those, to be honest, on the inters.
Yeah, currently watching Ben, who's currently second in the Salbot, who's looking on an improvement lap again. He's up by a 10th through sector 2.
needs just a tiny bit more than that, doesn't he? He probably needs to find about another tenth just to guarantee at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do out of turn 15 on the run to the line. Keeps it nice and tight as he's gone in. He's decided to bail. My guess is he'll probably be looking at a fresh set of intermediates.
Yeah. He's done 3 flying laps.
Roddy's dived in as well.
Oh, losing the Ferraris just coming
Calvin's improved to P4 on those full wet tyres, a 1.4 second improvement. And I was talking to Calvin before I joined the comms party in a different party, and I says to him, brand new season, but you still can't escape the Alpine, which is the car he was racing in last season. So even into a new season, he can't escape the French.
Yeah. So what are your early predictions? If X remains similar drivers throughout the whole season, who do you think we're going to have to for the championship?
I mean, as you say, if it were the same 18 or so drivers throughout the season for X, and obviously we're going to have many different drivers taking part in X throughout the season, especially myself. If I'm not commentating, you'll probably see me out on track. As Saviour goes for a 28.9 on a set of intermediates.
The first in the 28.
Could be the point where people decide to try the intermediates.
Ben's obviously come out now on his fresh set.
Yeah, Flattery in the Ferrari starting a flying lap now. He's on a brand new set of intermediates for this final 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in this qualifying. Let's see where the newly promoted Tier 2 driver can put that Scarlet Ferrari with a fresh set of intermediates on as he heads through turn 6. He's got his fellow Ferrari just ahead of him, Armar, up the road.
Yeah, I've just jumped on with Armar. Armar's sector 1 was literally nip and tuck compared to his last best, so he's pretty much the same.
There's Doris, 28.3 on intermediates, and Rassam's, I think that's in the pit lane for Rassam. Called it a day.
I missed Mark's lap there by the looks of it as well. I didn't even realise.
Yeah, Mark, I missed it as well. 28.6. I told you he's improved massively since. Told you it's because he's left us and he's not got us barking.
Yeah. That's on the wet tyres.
Armar, 27.9. The times are plummeting. As Flattery goes P5 in the other Ferrari with a 28.9. So times are definitely improving in these closing stages.
Yeah.
As we're following single track, as he's coming through sector 3, currently P7 on a 29.6. I wouldn't be surprised if most of those cars out on track now are on intermediates at this stage, because it definitely looks more like an intermediate session now as single track comes to the line. Improvement to 1 place, half a second improvement to P7, 29.0. But he'll most likely be going again.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Mark's going to bang out another lap now as well. I think he's just had a sort of a cool down lap.
Yeah, you focus on that. I'll find somebody else to look at. We'll Baby Hornet's invalidated, Gab's invalidated. Let's give Smith a bit of airtime in this qualifying session. He's got Alpine just ahead of him. Smith currently down in 16th in the Red Bull, just behind his fellow Red Bull of Gav. Night Shadow, the only two Tier 3 drivers in this race. And because of that, because Tier 3 sadly have only had 2 drivers racing tonight, the maximum points they can score in tonight's race is 13. Whereas both Tier 1 and Tier 2 respectively have managed to gather over 5 drivers. They get to race for the maximum of 25 points. Because we have, I think it's 9 Tier 1 9 Tier 1 drivers in tonight and 7 Tier 2 drivers. So as we're about to take the checkered flags, everybody's on their very last run. So as Ben 20 only just by 4,000ths of a second beating Armar's time to take pole at the dying seconds.
I've got a feeling Mark, I don't know, he looked like he was up for 3rd, but I think he had a bit of a moment coming out at 14.
Checkered flag is out now, 0. So everyone will be taking the flag now as Roddy goes P3 when he takes the flag. So it's decent qualifying. Calvin's caught the flag, he's in P7. Doris, the pole sitter in the sprint, is 4th as Armar takes provisional pole at this stage with a 27.8 in the Ferrari. G-Star invalidated, so he won't be finishing a lap. Let's have a little look at how single track does. I don't think he's not on a lap, he's on an in lap. Saviour still on those full wets at this stage. See what he can do on his very last attempt.
So I was on board with G-Star then, and he just had a moment going in the pit.
Mark ran out of fuel on the final at the last corner, and he was 4/10 up. As Ben 27.6. Ben takes pole provisionally at the very end, as we got 2 cars yet to. As single track Saviour boosts up to P6, and now we're just waiting on the Red Bull of Smith, but he's not going to fit a time. So Ben, despite not getting pole in the sprint, takes pole position for the feature race. Took it on the very last lap of his qualifying. So now we're waiting.
Did he just keep that in the bank just until he needed it?
Oh, he was most likely saving it for the end.
Yeah.
Missed out on pole for the sprint, but takes it for the main race. So hopefully, as we do have a screen now to run through the order. So Ben takes pole position, and alongside him on the front row is Armar. P3 is Roddy Kidd. P4 Doris, the pole sitter in the sprint, is P5 for the feature race. Saviour 6th, Mark 7th, G-Star 8th, Calvin 9th, Colin rounds off the top 10. Bottom half of the grid, single track 11th, Flatter T 12th, Baby Hornet 13th, Lorpy 14th, Night Shadow 15th, Smith 16th, Rassam 17th, and the last car at the back in 18th is Jackstar. Very, very interesting qualifying with the wet conditions. We'll soon see what the race is. The question is if...
There we go.
It's looking dry, so I wonder... So I'm guessing most of those qualifying laps were set with a dry setup, so a lot of drivers would have had to sacrifice qualifying for the race, but there were still some decent lap times, and I'm just looking at how many people are currently watching, and we have 22 people at this stage watching. 22.
That's quite
22 people. Oh, it's gone down to 20. Me and my big mouth.
And still only 8 likes though.
Yeah, if you're watching and you're enjoying the coverage that you're getting from X tonight, give a like. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell as well to be notified whenever we go racing here in MRC. We have 5 races a week, 1 on a Friday with MRC-X like today. We have 2 on Monday, which is your Tier 2 and Tier 1 races. And then Wednesday we have Tier 3s along with the no assists of MRC Extreme. So we get 5 races a week. So you'll have 5 races streamed live every week here on this channel. As we now have...
Chat. Sorry, 36 minutes, 36 minutes past, sorry, is their go time.
Rightio. So yet again another breather between the qualifying and the race. I gave a little bit of stuff on the track, but I don't want to give too much information about Portimao because obviously we've got other streams to go, so yeah. I don't want to be giving away too much nerd knowledge about Portimao or the Portuguese Grand Prix in general.
I look forward to hearing that during the course of the week then, because I don't know too much about this track.
I'm sure many of the commentators throughout the week will be giving bits of information that they know. Oh, Mark's just put in the YouTube chat, possible rain at the end.
Interesting.
So it could get very interesting towards the closing stages.
So do you think that maybe there will see people think of start now on a set of hards to maybe try and just go for that stop into the wet if it comes?
We'll see when we get the formation lap underway, but it wouldn't surprise me if people try to I mean, some people may even try the medium tyres to get to the rain as well. Many strategy possibilities.
I must admit, when we did the race last week, or the demo race to do the team announcements and whatnot, I was quite surprised then with the setup saying either mediums to softs or softs to mediums on this track. As we've spoken before, there's no way I could use a set of soft to mediums on any circuit in this game. I'd destroy them.
Well, we'll be thinking of that more or less towards when Tier 1, Tier 2 comes around on Monday.
Yeah, get to race in the same tier for a whole season.
Lewis Carter has just pointed out in the YouTube chat, Ben's pace even in the slowest car is disgusting. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. You wouldn't believe, by the way the grid's formed for the sprint and the main race, that we are running realistic cars. You wouldn't think it, would you?
No. It's been pretty fairly matched out. Oh, right, here we go.
Yeah, as we got the green lights for the formation lap, this time being led away from Ben. As we'll have a look at tyres while they're going round on the formation lap to see what people are going for. 3 people have gone for the hard tyres. You've got single track Baby Hornet and Night Shadow on the hard tyres. Ben, Roddy, Doris, Saviour, G-Star, Colin, Lorpy, Smith, Rassam and Jackster have all gone for the soft tyres, so looking to get a quick start in this 33 lap race, and the rest of them, Armar, Kid, Mark, Calvin and Flattery have all gone for the mediums, so all tyres are being used at the start of this race.
Yeah, it's quite a brave move, I think. Like, if I had anything of rain coming up on the radar towards the end of the race, I don't think I'd be risking it enough to start and set us off. You might be forcing yourself into an additional stop
It'll
there.
be interesting to see what it's going to be like for single track Baby Hornet and Night Shadow with being on those hard tyres. With heavy, because it's Portimao, as Mark mentioned earlier on during I think the sprint qualifying, is the low grip of this track. So obviously with the hard tyres, with the heavy fuel and how little grip you get from the hard tyres at the start, it's going to be interesting to see what those three can do in the opening stages of this race as everyone starts to form up on the grid.
Good.
For 33 laps. We had 11 in the sprint, and now we're about to go racing for 33 laps here in Portimao. Total distance of 95.326 miles as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and we're racing for the feature race in Portimao. And it looks to be a nice clean getaway for Ben, who holds the lead, but Roddy sweeps through to second off the line. Armar down to third. Kid Dynamite and Doris battling away. It's very tight in the midfield.
Night Shadow and Spun at the back, I think.
There's a McLaren. That's jacked up.
Yeah, that's probably those hard tyres and literally that off-camber.
I think Jackster started on the soft, so that just might be caught. Oh, is he?
Wow.
Yeah, he has. Must have been caught out by the off camber turn 4, because it can catch a driver out. But as we are halfway through lap 1, it is Ben followed by Roddy and Doris, your top 3. Armar started second, is now down to 4th. The biggest gainer on lap 1 so far is Lorpy, up 3 places in 11th. Say that now, Rassam's up 3 places now as well. And he's having a side-by-side moment with Baby Hornet. Holds the position. So yeah, plenty of position changes on that opening lap.
Cool.
There's Saviour and Kid Dynamite getting their elbows out even before Tier 1. As Lorpy's plummeted back down the order. As we have Gav in the pits, Night Shadow in the pits at the end of lap 1, so possible contact on that opening lap. As G-Star goes for a move down the inside of Kid Dynamite. Haas is swapping positions through turn 5. Armar slowly being dropped by the top 3 in that Ferrari. Is 1.3 seconds off Ben, Roddy and Doris. He is on the medium tyres though.
It looks like he's pitted early, but he's come out of the pit with still that end plate missing on the left hand side.
So he's probably not changed the thing to say yes for the wing change. He's probably left it on automatic, but
not needed around this circuit, that's for sure.
Nah, you definitely need the stability. Roddy leads. And Doris has followed him through as well, so Ben has dropped 2 places down towards turn 1. So the new kid on the block, Roddy, now leads the race here in Portimao.
There's a big battle going on behind as well with G-Star and Armar.
Yeah, Armar getting taken by G-Star, and Saviour just ahead of that train as well. He's at the field a very...
He's going to get through.
Ooh, yeah.
Inside of the hairpin. Armar's holding it there though. They're going to go side by side.
He'll have his kid takes it round the outside heading into turn 7. So Kid keeping tabs with the other half of G-Star just ahead. Even though we are in teams for MRC-X, there is no teams involved. It's every driver for himself. It's a bit of contact just behind between Calvin and Armart. There's Collins, Mark's there as well to take advantage. Or was it? No, it was Colin, sorry. It was Colin that took advantage and swooped through as well. Keeping in touch with Calvin.
Got a feeling that he's going to...
As we have... we've had a change for the lead into turn 1. Doris takes Roddy at turn 1. Bit of a close quarters through turn 3, but all's fine.
Getting quite interesting at the moment. Sort of 6, 7, 8, 11 and 12 all sort of having good little battles here.
Yeah, because you got the front 3, then you've got Saviour down to Kid, who's slowly creeping into the top 3. The battle for the top 3, who are now all within DRS of each other. Well, Saviour just around about a second or so off of Ben, but getting close to it as Doris is opening the gap to Roddy. He's got it just over a second as he heads through turn 14. So
a lot of smoke again. I know this track does sort of seem to have a lot of lockups on it, but it's almost like it's gone back to that poor stage of when cars were just smoking left, right and centre and they had to fix the glitch.
Yeah,
Colin Kid's just got past G-Star.
Yeah, Ben's also took Roddy for second. Roddy was a sitting duck to Ben because he was outside of DRS of Doris. But the top 4 now are together because Saviour's now joined the party. I will say this, Saviour does suit the Williams. Yeah, and then you got the train that Kid's currently bringing around from himself down to Mark in Armour in P9, but it's still very close in the middle of the pack, as you were saying, because there's plenty of battles in the midfield. But it's not.
Sam as well as making the most of those soft tyres by looks, but he's made up. Let's just look at the positions here. I think he's made up a fair few now. Yeah, 6 positions. We've got RS Scam up at the moment. So he's definitely getting the best out of those soft tyres.
Yeah, Ben fastest lap 19.5. As I think Rassam's about to take P10. He does.
Yeah,
he's now splitting the 2 Ferraris in P10.
There's a while as well. Mark's just slowly closing in on everybody ahead.
Yeah, he's keeping himself quiet.
Roddy again. Just got a slightly poor exit in Bennett. Ben, you just said Ben got the fastest lap there so far. I think that's pretty much what my times were on a practice session with myself the other night before I chucked my toys out the pram.
Yeah, I tend to look more at consistency at tracks rather than outright pace, because as long as I'm consistent and not spinning, I'm happy.
I see. The other night we did the team announcements. I felt like I did okay on that performance. I went on a couple of nights later. I seemed to be worse, and the only thing that was consistent was spinning out almost every single lap. So there is some form of consistency there.
You mentioned the team draw. There was. I always have the particular question stuck in my head now because it was quite an interesting question that Martin threw at the likes of Connor, Mark and Chris, who also was doing the comms for the team draw. is, I think Ben's had a moment because he's just lost 2 places. He must have had a moment at turn 4.
And I think Colin just made a move on G-Star at the same time as well. And I think Calvin's just about,
bit of contact on the exit, but that's just how tight it is. You don't realise how tight turn 5 is.
No. Tyre strategies here, and I think, like I say, we're at lap 7 already. Those mediums, the softs are
I don't want to alarm you, Steve, but your teammates just popped up in the YouTube chat. Andrew, how are you? You looking forward to being teammates with Andrew this season at Aston Martin?
Yeah, it should be good. Should be a fun time, I reckon. Although a bit disappointed that he's in the chat and, not on track practicing, ready for our opening race.
Probably wants to see how his teammates doing in the comms box.
Yeah, that's right. Better than watching me on the track at the moment.
Ben gets a position back on Roddy through turn 1, but Roddy's still there. He's gone bouncing across the sausage curb. Roddy getting a bit of air through turn 2. Launched the car across the turn 2 curb. All 4 wheels off the ground. Beautiful stuff.
Brave move.
Yeah, he tried to keep it on the inside of Ben and launched the car in the air, all 4 wheels off the ground. If you pause the stream well enough, you'll see the gap, the gap from the ground to the car. But since
with Armour, I think he's trying to.
Since Saviour's got P2, that gap to Doris is coming down. As G-Star's picked up 3 seconds. That would have been around turn 12, about turn 11, turn 12, because it's very easy to pick up certain track limits here. I mean, turn 1 is an obvious one as Ben's dove into the pits. He's making the call now. He's gone. Wonder what people are going to do now. Soft tyres. Who's going to react to that?
Armour's just got them moved on G-Star. Very standard DRS overtake on the straight. Bored myself with Lorpit at the moment. I think he's trying to keep up with Mark, but obviously again those two on different tyre strategies.
Yeah, Saviour getting ever closer to Doris for first and second. Roddy's 2.4 back. He's all on his own, but he's got Kid for company now. But it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously Ben pitted at the end of lap 8 onto lap 9. What's Doris and Saviour going to do as they come through turn 14 towards turn 15? Are they going to go to the pits now and try and cover Ben off? We'll soon find out.
Yeah.
Doris doesn't, but Saviour does. Saviour dives into the pit lane. Doris carries on another lap, so Saviour's looking to cover off. And so's Roddy. He's in as well, so those two trying to cover the early stop of Ben. So Doris in clean air all to himself, 3.9 seconds ahead of Kid Dynamite, who's on his own. Calvin 1.8 back, has got a lovely train forming behind him down to Rassam in P7. Saviour, just going to say very quickly, Saviour has got out ahead of Ben in the pit, so
oh nice.
Saviour, who was ahead of Ben during the pit, so yeah, that's about right actually, because I think Saviour was ahead of Ben when Ben pitted. And just having a look, Ben's on mediums, Roddy has gone for a set of hard tyres, and Saviour is on another set of softs, so Saviour's gone soft.
I wonder if he's thinking about the rain then. Saviour trying soft and then hoping for that rain to come.
Possibility.
So my teammate is unfortunately my teammate can't be practicing tonight because he's doing a very nice thing and looking after his not very well mum.
Yeah, he mentioned that in the YouTube, the comms chat as well, that he was helping his mum out. So hopefully he can get a bit of time to practice, because don't want you two struggling in the Constructors' Championship, do we?
No, not really. So I was going to say Mark as well has just made that position on Flaherty.
Yeah, he's currently in a scrap with Lorpy as they're going side by side. Yeah. Lorpy getting a better run through turn 5. Just have a look further back. We've got the train behind Baby Hornet, which coincides with Smith, Single Track and Jackster. So my teammate for this season, Single Track, Martin, down in 13th. He's on the hard tyres though, so he's looking to go relatively long. Hopefully I can grab him after this for a bit of feedback on certain things, as Jackster got a bit close to Single Track and has had a moment and lost the car.
That's just kept himself out again on the softs there.
Yeah, Doris going another lap as Colin and Calvin trading places for 3rd and 4th.
I could be getting myself at it a little bit here, but going down the start-finish straight now, there's some really big clouds out there, and they seem to be getting more of them and a little bit greyer.
Yeah, despite the cloud though, we do have a bit of sunshine still, so still got a ways to go before the rain comes. What have you seen?
So there's a bit of wheel banging. We'll just call it that, between Smith, it looked like Smith, Saviour and Hornet. They're all having a little battle amongst themselves there, but one of them looked to be making a bit of a bold move into the hairpin.
Yeah, still, as I said, it's still looking a bit bright at the moment. It's not getting dull at the moment, but the clouds are rolling in.
Yeah. As
you say. So the drivers on track will be definitely keeping an eye on those.
Right, and finally pitted.
Yeah, he's called it best. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. How much time would he have lost to the likes of Saviour, Ben and Roddy, who pitted several laps before us? Saviour makes a move on the inside of turn 14 on Single Track, and I think Baby Hornet's going side by side with Single Track now. So it's going to be a drag race. It's 2x2 behind as well with Ben and Smith.
Yeah, Loppy's just got a move done on Mark. It's quite impressive considering the tyres.
Ben tried to make a move around the outside of... that's Baby Hornet that's
G-Star.
Lost the back end as well. Baby Hornet had a moment.
Yeah, I think G-Star just had one as well, I think. I was on board there just at the end and it's just come out of the ghosting.
Kid Dynamite with a 3.1 second lead to Calvin, who's currently second. Obviously most of those out front are yet to pit. Saviour, since pitting, has worked his way back up to P10, but he's got Doris hooked up right behind him.
Yeah,
Doris on the medium tyre.
They're having a fantastic battle, these two. Keep real wheel-to-wheel racing there, side by side, clean.
As Rassam's now pitted at the end of lap 13.
This cloud is really rolling in now. They're coming out of turn 15. You can see it. It's definitely getting greyer. It's coming.
Yeah, Doris has pulled to the left-hand side and gone round the outside of Saviour just before turn 1. Obviously, Saviour with those soft tyres. He's been on those for a few laps now, whereas Doris is on brand new fresh medium tyres. Made short work of the Williams with the DRS, but Saviour will be looking to keep on the back of the Aston Martin towards the DRS out of turn 15 to probably give Doris a return favour into turn 1. So that battle will be continuing.
RS just come out of the pits interestingly as well. G-Star's opted for a set of softs. Whereas Sam's gone for some mediums.
Yeah, just had a jump to G-Star and we can see the red wall soft tyres. And there's Rassam on the yellow wall medium tyres. It'll be interesting to see how long those on the hards can go, because we had 3 drivers on the hards and the highest one at the moment is currently single track in P11, so it'll be interesting to see how long he decides to go on those hard tyres. I mean, as you say, the hard tyres will probably be going towards when the rain comes to try and do it with less stops. As Smith is in, he is going for a set of mediums on that Red Bull.
Armar's changed position with Calvin's a few turnings back there, taking the
and whilst they're scrapping behind, it's allowing Kidd to take his time out front, no pressure. 3.4, 3.5 seconds out front, still yet to stop on those medium tyres. We're about halfway into this 33 lap race.
I'm surprised that Colin and Lorpy at the moment are still putting around where they are with those tyres. It's incredible.
Yeah, still on those soft tyres. Probably having to take it easy to try and stretch them out.
Yeah. Oh, he's just swapped over there. I think Mark's just got to move down Lorpy.
Yep. Mark up to P5. Medium should still be alright on his car, 16 laps.
I'm bored with Lorpy. I mean, it really doesn't look like it's got any issues with those tyres at all. Driving's really smooth, there's no back end going anywhere.
Yeah, he's been nursing those softs, bit like Colin just up the road as well on the soft tyres as well, just nursing them, trying to see how far they can go on those tyres. As the sun, I've noticed, has faded a little bit, so it's getting more dull out there.
Ooh. So Flatty and Lorpy then just very, very close to each other.
I think that'll be the difference, because obviously Lorpy trying to nurse those soft tyres as long as he can. He will have DRS from Mark just ahead, as Gav has picked up 3 seconds.
These soft runners now literally must just be praying for rain, because they can't afford now really to stop.
They're probably doing the rain dance as well to try and get it to come a little bit quicker. Gap's about stationary out front with for Kidd, because obviously Armar and Calvin fighting first, second and third respectively, but as it stands, tier 1 is currently Kidd, Calvin and Colin. Tier 2 is Armar, Lorpy and Flattery. And tier 3 is Smith, then Gav. Those are the top 3 for each tier, as we have a yellow flag. I think that is G-Star on the exit of turn 4. So the off-camber turn 4 has caught another one out. Kidd carries on as it's starting to get a bit hazy now, so the drivers are going to be watching the weather very, very closely and listening to their engineer very, very closely as well to see when this rain does eventually come.
I've got Roddy at the moment all over Hornet's gearbox coming out of turn 14.
Yeah, we'll jump to that. Hornet on the hard tyres. Roddy on hard tyres, but Roddy far fresher.
Yeah, straight past, easy done. On the screen now, on my screen, I've got that sort of like a haze across.
Actually, I think it's raining because I've just jumped on board with Roddy and I can see streaks on the car.
Oh, and I'm on board with Hornet. Sorry, yeah, he's just had a moment which didn't look like it should have happened. Yeah,
I can see droplets as well.
I've got them as
the
well.
rain's here.
It's happened. So yeah, there you go. The soft tyre runners are now
G-Star
around for joy.
G-Star, despite having that moment, is in.
Gone in.
Let's see what G-Star's going for. Looks like intermediates for G-Star.
Smith. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Smith as well.
It's going to get interesting now. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at what the top 7 at the moment. You've got to be absolutely laughing.
Yeah, Kid carries on through.
Softs out.
Calvin's in. He'll be looking at the inters now. It's relatively spread these last few laps. We've got like little battles here and there, but the field is very, very spread.
Yeah. At the moment we've got Flaherty, Dorsey and Mark. All 3 of those at the minute are having a nice little
yeah,
moment.
we've got those.
Oh, and Ben's in. Oh no, Ben. Sorry, Flaherty's back.
Oh, Mark's just had a moment. Lost the car.
Yeah, he's lost it in the wall. Damage.
Oh, a bit of contact because carbon fibre just going and I don't know who that was that had a moment. Smith took 3 seconds.
I didn't see. I just saw Mark actually in the wall. Unfortunately, I didn't see the incident before. What happened?
No, there was an incident that happened a bit later.
And I'm on RS. Sam again is up with Hornet still. Both of them have stayed out.
Yeah, Kids carried on as well. Kids stuck it out.
It doesn't. I mean, the rain's not like it was in qualies, is it? So
no, the track's still relatively dry as well.
Yeah, it looks all right.
As Saviour's made a move past Lorpy for P4. Gap's still stable, around 3.5 seconds. As Ben picked up 3 seconds through, I think that would have been through turn 2. Looking at the track map, he's in a little battle with Doris still.
Single track.
7th and 8th. Oh, baby Hornet has been slammed with 10 seconds. He didn't get the car stopped before the line.
Who's this? Doris just had a bit of a moment. I think
he's
come out wide.
He rejoins safely though.
Yeah.
Lost a bit of time to Ben though. I think what a lot of drivers are going to be keeping an eye out for is when the message to say DRS is disabled.
Yeah.
But a lot of drivers have decided to bank on the intermediates early, like Calvin in particular.
Yeah, I've stayed on board with Doris here, and although it looks like there's an
G-Star with 3 seconds.
Oh dear. Yeah, he's definitely slipping around a lot more. Colin, 10 seconds.
Oh, just jumped to Roddy and he caught the back end coming out on turn 13. He caught it well. Rears lit up and back end came out, but he collected it quickly. As Doris, Ben and Colin are in, I wonder if they're looking at inters now.
Yeah, straight onto him.
No, I'm looking at Doris and he's gone for another set of medium tyres.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking at the other 2, Colin.
Yeah, Colin's gone inters, but Doris has gone back out on a fresh set of medium tyres. Ben is on intermediates now as well. So up until this point, I think it's the top 5 that are the only ones yet to pit yet at this moment, because Cade with a 3.9 second lead out front.
Ooh.
Armar with a further 8.7 to Saviour, and then it's a 1.1 to Lorpy, who's just over around about a second ahead of Flattery. So these five still braving it out on dry tyres. It still looks relatively dry. Looks okay.
Doris is pushing, but it's definitely a lot more slippy than it looks, because Doris seems to be struggling a bit. Lost a good 2 seconds from Ben ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on the gap from Calvin to Flattery. It's currently at 12.7. Calvin is the lead intermediate runner in P6. So we'll see what that gap's like throughout this lap. Doris has picked up 3 seconds, so he's probably struggling on those dry tyres, trying to keep it in track limits.
He just saved a big one there. The first hairpin.
I would say Calvin is closing the gap. It's down to 11.8 at this stage. So Calvin is taking decent sized chunks out of the cars in front. He's got it down to 10.5 seconds as we carry on with him through this lap. 10.2. So it does look like it could be slowly coming towards Calvin, because by the time the top 5 have pitted, yes, their inters will be a lot fresher, but at this stage I think Calvin could be looking at possibly leading the race at some stage by the time those have pitted. Saviour and Lorpy, and they have.
Lorpy and Flatty and Flaherty.
Yeah, even I struggled to pronounce it.
Yeah,
and I was doing a few tier 3 comms as well. As Calvin takes advantage of that, he's up to P3 now. He's got 20.2 seconds to Armar up the road, but that gap is dropping by a significant chunk.
I was going to say, I think Armar might have just had a moment out of that second.
Yeah, because that gap's up to just over 6 seconds now to Kid, who's not put a foot wrong.
No,
since
really
taking the lead.
Mediums.
As the track does look to be getting a bit more greasy now, but Kid controlling the car well, nice and smooth, nice and calm. Calvin carving chunks out of Armar. It's down to 16.4 seconds, 16.3. That gap is coming down fast. And the thing is, Kid will be seeing it as well. That delta coming down as Kid's in.
There we go.
Kid's gone in from the lead.
Is Armar going to come in or stay out? Armar's got to come in really now.
Yeah, Armar's in as well.
And then Rowdy's next, I suppose. And looking at the way his car's handling at the moment, he really has no choice now. He can't stay out on that. Whoa.
Kid's just hit his pit box and he's gone. Their DRS has now been disabled. Calvin's coming down the start-finish straight and will inherit the lead.
He's got it.
Calvin leads on lap 24. But Kid's inters are going to be a lot fresher, but it's getting those inters to start working. And you got Colin as well, that's close to Kid as well. So Armar's lost out to Colin, who also went for the early change to the inters around about the same time as Calvin.
Yeah, you got to think. Going to be some interesting battles now, because obviously Kid and Colin both impressively fast. Saviour's not too far behind.
Yeah, Saviour's got Ben for company, but we're focusing on the Kid and Colin battle for second and third overall, and also second and third for tier 1. All Calvin's got to do is try and hold that gap for, I think it's 10 laps.
Kid and Single Track and Mark have both just got past RS Sam. Again, he's still on the mediums. Both reeling in. Lorpy now, pretty much. It won't be too long.
Roddy 3 seconds. That's the thing. We'll have a little look at penalties at this stage. So we've got Colin carrying 10 seconds. Ben carrying 3 seconds. Baby Hornet carrying 10 seconds. Roddy and Doris on 3 seconds. Schmidt and Night Shadow on 3 seconds. A G-Star.
As you say that.
Yeah, he's picked up 10 seconds for corner cutting.
I think Sam might get one. He's just gone very wide.
G-Star's on 16 after that. He was on 6 and now finds himself on 16.
Brutal.
Kid bringing that gap down to Calvin. Slowly but surely. It's down to 3.8. Obviously those inters will be a lot fresher and he can hit them a lot, use them a lot harder. Have you seen anything, Steve? Because
yeah, sorry, RS Sam's having real problems. He's literally just came out of the hairpin corner. He's doing all right. He's getting out of people's way, but he was in a straight line. I think he changed into fourth and put his foot down, and the whole back end just lost. He should have come in last lap.
The car just wanted to veer towards the wall just then.
It's not loving this these track conditions.
No, best bet for him would be to come into the pits and put some inters on just to make sure he gets to the end, because one of the most important things with racing, you can't win unless you finish. So rule 1 in racing is finish.
It's definitely getting worse. He's struggling so much.
Yeah,
he's able to put the throttle down out of.
He's having to take it so cautiously as we're watching him as well. See if he does do the sensible thing and go into the pits. He is. He's going in. Sensible boy. Well done.
Lorpy stayed out though on the mediums.
Yeah, Lorpy's still on the mediums as well. But he's struggling as well to get power down, because he about lost the rear end through turn 4 and conceded a position to Baby Hornet. And you got Roddy as well, just having no issue. Lorpy struggling through turn 5, and again the car just wants to go, and it has. He's held it. He's took a board with him, but he should be looking to come in and put the inters on as well. We'll quickly jump back to the front. The gap has come down to 3.3. Kid Dynamite smells blood, and he is hunting down Calvin. Lap 27 of 33. All Calvin's got to do is try and hold on the best he can.
I think Calvin's pace has been on quite another level a lot more recently than before. When it's finally found his feet on this version of the game or whatever, but it just seems to have got so much quicker and more consistent in the last sort of season or two. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm in a party with Calvin most weeks, and seeing him have a good race, I'm not going to lie, it is putting a smile on my face, because I've got a decent friendship with Calvin, and I still remember the battle we had many seasons ago for the Tier 3 Championship, the two of us taking it down to the final race in Australia. But that gap's really come down now. It's 1.3. Calvin's lost loads of time to Kid.
A bit of a moment, I think, coming out of 14 as well.
Yeah, we can see spray as well. The spray starting to be brought up as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kid is on a mission. He's into
somebody you don't want in your rearview mirror. It's Kid.
Oh no! I mean, he'll be wanting to turn a leaf, especially for season 16, as Rassam has retired in the pit lane. But yeah, Kid from what I heard from Chris say during the team draw, Kidd last season had one of his worst seasons to date, so he's going to be looking to overtake time around, and he's got the gap to Calvin to 6/10, 5/10.
Oh,
he's really.
Yeah, I mean, it's every breaking point at the moment. It's
Calvin, he seems to have so much more grip than Calvin.
Yeah, we got only 5 laps different. But
it's showing
a massive difference on the track.
Yeah, he's all over the rear of Calvin. He's almost near enough putting that front of the car into the diffuser of that Alpine. Look at the speed he's able to carry. He's right up the rear of the Alpine now.
Oh,
he tries to get. He's pulling alongside.
Brave move.
Calvin tries to hold it on the outside. Both of them giving space, but Kidd gets the position.
3 seconds.
Decent, fair driving both by Kidd and Calvin through turn 1 and 2. Both drivers giving each other respectful room, and Kidd retakes the lead. But has Calvin got enough in those tyres to try and put a fight back?
Okay. Yeah, this is it. I'd hope so. It's going to go down. I see marks on.
Although Kidd's already opened the gap to us over a second. He's really ragging those inters at this stage. Lorpy 3 seconds. I think Kidd's inters are in far better shape than Calvin's, because Calvin's now starting to lose time to Colin just behind.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to fight Colin too much with the penalty there, though. Colin's not really in podium contention.
The worst scenario for Calvin is Colin able to overtake him. What penalties has Colin got?
He's got a fair few.
13, so yeah, he's not really any threat to Calvin. But Kidd's gone, he's 2.2 seconds up the road. We're just going to follow Calvin through these opening few corners to see if he's got any sign of struggling on those tyres. I can't see him struggling too much with these intermediates, but it's obvious the difference in tyre wear. You say, what was it, 5 laps you said between Calvin and Kidd's intermediates? Well, either way, Calvin is looking for a P2 in Tier 1 at this stage. Because as we say, Colin's got 13 seconds to his name, so he's no threat to Calvin, as we have a yellow flag at turn 5. So we'll drop down a little bit to a battle for P8 and P9 between two of our senior admins in Single Track and Mark. I will say this, these two are never too far apart on track.
No.
I will admit that. Single Track and Mark are never too far away from each other on track. You would think they do it deliberately so they can race each other.
I like getting involved with those two on track. Sometimes I can battle with them. Other times they just seem to be on another level. Track dependent, I suppose, and everyone's got their favourites, etc.
Yeah.
Getting away from them a bit there on the last 2 turns.
The gap between Calvin and Colin is 1.4 as we have a yellow flag. I think that's G-Star just getting out the way of cars down towards turn 1.
Right, Hornet, yeah.
Rassam's left the session, he's retired earlier on. Yeah, 31 lap of 33. Baby Hornet picks up a penalty.
think his tyres might well be a bit dead. He did get a move done on Doris, but the next two corners, the back end was on ice.
Yeah, and Colin is now right up behind Calvin as well now, but Armar's coming with him. Armar looking comfortable for the win in Tier 2, being in 4th place. Nearest Tier 2 drive. Actually, looking at it, Tier 2 is actually, funnily enough, a Ferrari 1-2. Armar and Flattery 4th and 7th, with Saviour and Ben in between them. So it's currently a Ferrari 1-2 in Tier 2, with single track in P3 for Tier 2, but Roddy looking very racy as single track's gone very defensive all the way over to the right hand side, trying to break the toe of the McLaren. So this is going to be an interesting scrap, so we'll watch this one for a bit, because this is currently for 3rd place in Tier 2 between single track and Roddy. Roddy making his MRC debut, first official league race, and from what I've seen he's held himself very, very well.
Yeah, decent pace, consistent, clean. I don't know if Mark's just sat behind the two of them here, hoping that they're going to have a last lap battle and he can maybe flip past the pair of them.
Yeah, and it's getting a bit close up top as well. Colin and Armar with a 3/10 gap as well, but we're going to focus on this one because it's for the final podium spot in Tier 2. As we're on the final lap, so we're actually going to jump to Kid and go on board for a final lap around 40 mile as he heads into turn 5. We'll not be on board though, because you can see a lot of information on the wheel and we don't want to give too much info away. As he brings it through turn 7 and 8 for the very last time. Down the hill towards through turn 9 into turn 10. And then it's back down the hill to turn 12. And then back up the hill for turn 13. A lot of elevation changes.
Sorry, I'm on board with Roddy in single track.
I'm guessing it's very close. I'm getting it's too close for comfort as Kid is going to come really round pushing. Turn 15 and he's going to take the win in the future race. Kid wins and Calvin will hold on for a P2. Brilliant job for him.
Be happy with that, surely.
Armar takes P3 overall. Colin drops down to P6 after his penalties, but it could be, yeah, it'd be P6 for Colin after his penalties. So Saviour gets P3 in Tier 1. We'll run through the the top 3 of the tiers, but it's going to be very close for 3rd in Tier 2 though, and I think single track's going to hold on. He does.
I just got to say now that's over. Single track had about 60% battery there and Roddy had about 10. So I think single track was comfortable over the line himself.
Mark gets P9 after Roddy's penalties. Doris comes across the line P11. Baby Hornet P12.
That might
Law
change.
P.
Oh no, that won't change at all.
Making his way round. Last two to take the flag will be Lorpy and Doris. It's Jackster, sorry. Lorpy finishes 13th. And 14th and across the line for the final flag is Jackstar. So we'll run through the order and I'll announce the top 3 from each tier as we go through. But congratulations on the win for Kid. Calvin, also a very, very promising drive as well.
Time for the day.
Yeah. Definitely a possible boost for Calvin after the season he had last season in season 15. So he'll be hoping to take this positivity into Monday. Same as Kidd, he'll be taking the positive from this into Monday as well. And I'd say Armour as well, as he won Tier 2 at Tier 2. We're getting P3. Hopefully we get the results. Still got a black screen on my screen. You got anything, Steve?
Kidd, Calvin, Ben, Armar, Saviour, Colin, Doris, Flaherty, Roddy, Single Track, Lorpy, Mark, Night Shadow, Baby Hornet, Jackster, Smith, G-Snipes and RS Sam, just as it disappears off my screen.
Yeah, cheers for running through that. So from what I can work out is it was a win for Tier 1 in Kidd, a win for Armar in Tier 2, and I would think a win for Smith in Tier 3 for that feature race. So season 16 is underway, live and kicking.
And like you said a moment ago before the end there, obviously Ferrari, good for their first race of the season, the constructors' points there.
Yeah, I don't think we have constructors in MRC-X, but it's still good to be still a promising thing to see a Ferrari there in the top 2 for Tier 2, sorry. But yeah, that is it here for MRC-X in Portugal. Next time we'll be going live will be 7 o'clock for Tier 2, when Tier 2 go for their first race of the season of season 16, which will then be followed by Tier 1 at 9:15 on that same evening. And then we'll have the Tier 3 contingent going racing at 7 o'clock on the Wednesday, which will then be followed by the guys that are nuts and crazy when they go no assists at 9:15 that same night. So season 16 is underway and it's live and kicking in MRC. Thank you for being alongside on comms, Steve. It's great to have you.
And yourself, as usual.
So yeah, keep an eye out for when we go racing on Monday with Tier 2 and Tier 1. It is good night from myself and Steve. Enjoy the rest of your evenings.
And yourselves. Have good weekends, everyone.